WFIL show wagon. Sick with 56. You never heard it so good. The President will make nationwide address tomorrow night on Formosa crisis.
More details on this, a complete coverage of all the news, tonight. Fidelity Philadelphia Trust Company brings you the news on this portion.
This is Tom Rogers at WFIL in Philadelphia. The U.S. Supreme Court meets tomorrow to hear arguments on the Little Rock integration case. The NAACP filed a brief with the High Court today saying the very survival of the rule of law depends on continued integration at Little Rock Central High. The Justice Department will not submit a new brief, but will stand on its earlier recommendation that the High Court order integration without delay. Some 300 to 400 white persons blocked a car carrying 4 Negro and 1 white child to an integrated school in Madisonville, Kentucky this morning after federal marshals had appeared at the school. State police dispersed the crowd and then took the Negro children into the elementary school. The NAACP has filed suit with the federal district court to try to force Van Buren, Arkansas High School to integrate despite opposition of white students. White segregationists struck last week and drove 13 Negro students out of the integrated high schools. The Secretary of Health, Education and Welfare says some school districts near government installations face the loss of federal aid if they close public schools because of integration. Arthur Fleming's remarks apparently apply to the southern communities which have threatened to close school doors rather than integrate. In Washington, President Eisenhower will return from his Newport vacation tomorrow to deliver a nationwide radio and TV speech on the Formosa crisis. The President will speak from his White House office tomorrow night at 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time and is expected to outline U.S. commitments to Zhanggai Shek in the face of Red Chinese hostility. The Communists have charged the United States with a deliberate war provocation in flying warplanes over the China mainland. There also are reports of the Red Chinese moving a number of big jet fighters to a new airfield just 3 minutes flying time from the Quemoys. Communist Chinese shore batteries have pounded Quemoy City for the second straight day. Casualties were light in the capital city of Big Quemoy Island, but many homes belonging to the 12,000 citizens were destroyed or damaged by the shelling. In San Francisco, Senator William Nolan warned today against any compromise with Communist China that would endanger Formosa. Nolan said the offshore islands of Quemoy and Matsu are as important to free China as West Berlin is to free Germany. And in Washington, an administration figure said today he believes that Sherman Adams is through as President Eisenhower's chief aide. Adams is in Canada on a fishing trip, and the administration figure says he doesn't believe the presidential assistant will return to his White House desk. Jim Felix with the local news in 60 seconds on Tonight. Do you have a son or a daughter going back to school or college? You know that can mean all kinds of extra expenses for you. For tuition, books, uniforms, new clothes for the youngsters, and so many other school needs. But why squeeze the family finances when you can pay those back to school expenses the easy way, with a loan from Fidelity Philadelphia Trust Company? It's low in cost because Fidelity charges you only low bank interest rates. And at Fidelity, you can pick a convenient repayment plan that'll fit in with your income. Now, you'll like that friendly Fidelity service, too. And wherever you live or work, in Philadelphia, Delaware, Bucks, or Montgomery counties, you'll find Fidelity is the handy bank for you. You just look in the white pages of your phone book for the nearest of Fidelity's 25 offices. Why not visit Fidelity soon? Yes, really, get ahead of those back-to-school expenses with a low-cost loan from Fidelity. And remember, bank at Fidelity and you'll benefit from every kind of banking service.
On the local scene, Samuel Shorty Feldman, business agent of the Philadelphia Produce Drivers Local 929, was suspended today by Teamster Union President James R. Hopper. In other action, Hopper announced that hearings will be conducted tomorrow here in Philadelphia with a view toward placing Teamsters Local 107 under National Union trusteeship. Police arrested 2 aquatic boys today for trying to steal gasoline to get home after job hunting. The victim was job hunting, too. The boys were identified as 16-year-old William Doherty of Baker Street near Mallory in Manayunk, and John McAndrews, also 16, of Cresswell Street near Stanton in East Falls. The victim, Charles Flanagan of 4118 Merrick Street. Police say the boys were spotted by Flanagan siphoning gas from his car as he was coming out of a factory at 5000 Flat Rock Road in Manayunk. He'd had a job interview. Flanagan said the boys jumped into the Schuylkill River. One of them, Doherty, swam the 200 feet to the other side, but McAndrews couldn't swim. He floundered in the water a while. Then, when he discovered the water was shallow, he walked back into the arms of Flanagan. Then Doherty, apparently realizing his situation was hopeless because he'd be identified through his companion, swam back across and gave himself up, too. It was proposed today that all Philadelphia school children get mandatory Salk shots to combat the polio outbreak. The proposal was made to the City Health Department by Ralph W. Prees, head of the Pennsylvania chapter of the National Foundation for Infantile Paralysis. Prees suggested that Philadelphia follow the example of neighboring Camden. Recently, Camden made it a requirement that all children entering kindergarten or first grade receive the Salk injections. Philadelphia has had 30 cases of polio so far this year, 2 of which were fatal. It's the largest outbreak of the disease since 1954. A spokesman for the Board of Education said some medical authorities believe a mandatory program might not be wise. However, because it might encourage some parents to wait until their children enter school before getting the shots. And authorities say polio's greatest threat is to children between 2 and 5 years of age. For the first time in the memory of Philadelphia court observers, a murder trial went on today without the defendant being present. The missing man, Samuel Green, who went on trial Monday morning in Quarter Sessions Court before Judge Flood. Tuesday, he failed to show up after threatening a witness the night before. The trial was recessed. Green was still missing this morning, but Judge Flood ordered the trial to go on. Green is charged with stabbing John Henry White during an argument in July of 1957. Police believe the Scolari brothers are heading for the West Coast in a stolen automobile after pulling off several holdups and robberies in Ohio. Philadelphia authorities claim they now have definite proof that the brothers killed South Philadelphia merchant Max Gordon last August 28th.
You're listening to News Tonight. This portion brought to you every day by Fidelity Philadelphia Trust Company, a member of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation.
Joseph H. Miller reporting from Pittsburgh. Mayor David L. Lawrence of Pittsburgh today made a plea to Pennsylvania municipal officials to forget politics as usual methods in the operation of their communities and unite in a new effort for mutual welfare. Speaking at the closing business session of the Pennsylvania League of Cities, Lawrence, who is the Democratic candidate for governor, said, "The people of Pennsylvania do not want cutthroat political civil wars. What the public demands," he added, "is constructive action in which all men and women will take a full share regardless of their political allegiance." Lawrence also took a crack at state legislatures and Congress for narrow partisanship. He added there are too many legislators, both on the national and state levels, who hope that party regularity will keep city officials in line while they make their own hay with the mysterious strategists who fashion party policy at the state and national capitals. That, said the Pittsburgh mayor, is bad politics as well as bad government. Dave Lawrence is an old hand at both politics and government. If he is elected governor next November 4th, it is to be hoped he won't forget what he said on September 10th.
In the Delaware Valley tonight, 3 boys escaped from the Philadelphia Protectory for Boys at Fatland in Montgomery County. The boys, identified as Bobby Polgar, 17, Freddie Main, 16, and Jerry Jeffra, 15, ambushed night watchman Bill O'Connor, stole his keys, and made their escape in a stolen truck. They were seen taking the truck from in front of the home of J. Fred Miller. Later in the morning, the truck was found abandoned in Phoenixville, a few miles away. The 3 boys threatened to hit O'Connor over the head with a piece of pipe if he shouted for help. The Protectory is operated by the Roman Catholic Brothers of the Christian Schools and is located on the Schuylkill River across from Valley Forge Park. A Mount Holly, New Jersey teenager died this morning of injuries suffered in a head-on auto crash near Mount Holly shortly before midnight. Bobby Cotton, 18 years old, suffered a fractured skull in the crash on Route 38, which saw 3 doctors and 3 teenagers injured. The physicians, all residents at Burlington County Hospital, were en route to the institution when the crash occurred. The boys had borrowed their car from another teenager and were returning it after a 10-minute drive. Most seriously injured doctor, 29-year-old David K. Kiryukar of India. He suffered a long cut on his head. And the body of a missing Reserve Corps flyer has been found in Delaware Bay near Cape May Courthouse, New Jersey. Lieutenant Robert H. Esty of Haddonfield, New Jersey, was co-pilot of a twin-engine plane when it crashed on training flight last week.
Holland Stay New Dry Cleaning. Yes, Holland Stay New Dry Cleaning extends the beauty and usefulness of your clothes. Send them to Holland. See the bright, wonderful difference Stay New makes.
Francis Davis and the weather.
Thank you, Tom. You know, it's beginning to look more and more like an early fall and a long winter. Certainly there wasn't much chill in today's weather with temperatures in the upper 70s, but we're going down in the 50s again tonight and tomorrow night. The month continues to run quite dry, too, as each successive push of cold air comes through here so fast that the showers associated with it are brief and insignificant.